This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, time to get this party started. Welcome to another informative and hopefully entertaining edition of the Farm Monitor. Once again, we have got a lot to get to, so without further delay, Mr. B, take it away, please.
Yes, indeed. Straight ahead on the program, a conversation with the House Ag Committee Chair David Scott of Georgia. What he said about politics and political affiliations when it comes to the ag industry. Speaking of which, despite the change in power in Washington, the farm economy for 2021 looks promising, according to the American Farm Bureau. Chief Economist John Newton breaks down those numbers. Plus, in the latest edition of Meals from the Field, Ray and Marcia are breaking out the wok and cooking up a recipe using, of all things, leftovers straight from the fridge. All this and more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
As you know, many changes now in Washington, D.C., including chair of the House Agriculture Committee. That seat now occupied by longtime committee member, Congressman David Scott of Georgia. John Holcomb now on the chairman's new role and what issues the committee plans to address.
On January 3rd, both new and former members of the House and Senate were sworn into office on Capitol Hill, marking the start of the 117th Congress. Representative David Scott from Georgia was one of those, but this time with a new title, Chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, something he says is a very humbling experience.
I'm so grateful. I thank God for this blessing because that's what it is. And I also thank him for preparing me for it. You know, the good Lord kind of prepares you for things before you get there and you're just wondering. And he brings the right people together at the right team and boom, there it is. And being born on a little country farm, as we said, in Aner, South Carolina, across the river. And coming up and during that period of time, small farm there, and knowing what's at stake, doing the hard work, it kind of made me what I am, and I'm so appreciative to it.
Scott, who grew up on a farm and has been a member of the House Ag Committee since 2003, knows how important ag is and vows to make sure it continues to thrive nationwide.
Agriculture is our single most important industry. It's the food we eat, the water we drink, clothes we wear, our shelter, our renewable fuels, it's all of that. And we can do without a lot of things, John, but we cannot do without food, water, our clothing, and shelter.
Scott says he plans to work on legislation that helps agriculture in a number of different ways, including climate change, disaster assistance, and even dealing with issues in rural America, an issue he says is vital to ag success.
We're losing too many of our rural communities. Towns are disappearing. People and young people are leaving the areas. Why? We're not connected out there. And we can't go on that way. We've got to connect and be one community, urban and rural.
And according to him, he isn't going to let politics and political affiliations get in the way.
We have a strong history of bipartisanship. That is what has made our Agriculture Committee impactful. And that is something that I cherish and build upon. It speeds the process along when you have Republicans and Democrats working together. And that's been a hallmark of mine. I'm going to have as great a relationship with Secretary Vilsack, who's the new Agriculture Secretary, as I did with my good friend Sonny Perdue.
Reporting in Fulton County for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Meantime, 2021 could result in more money in the pockets of farmers and producers. American Farm Bureau's Michael Clement shares specifics on the improving conditions.
The new year is bringing some optimism for the farm economy, thanks to multiple factors. Farm Bureau Chief Economist John Newton says one of those factors is trade with China, which could reach near record levels.
Recently released data from the U.S. Census Bureau show that preliminary exports to China during November nearly $5 billion. So when you add that to the existing total, we've now sold about $22.5 billion to China. So that's significant progress and a step in the right direction. We're unlikely to hit the phase 1 targets, but we could be close to record exports to China this year.
Meanwhile, the latest COVID-19 relief package includes roughly $13 billion in additional support for farmers and ranchers.
It puts a $20 per acre payment for crops that were included in the CFAP 2 program. It includes support for contract livestock and poultry producers, includes a supplemental payment for cattle producers, and then also includes no less than $1.5 billion for food distribution programs. So it allows USDA to continue the Farmers to Families Food Box program.
Add to that the ongoing market rally, and Newton says the farm economy outlook is improving.
We've seen the market get pretty tight in terms of supply over the last few months, especially with South American weather concerns. We've seen soybean and corn prices rally pretty significantly. And I think moving into 2021 with prices where they are, we're certain to see an expansion in soybean acres. Maybe corn buys some acres this spring. So the outlook on the farm economy has certainly improved since late July and August.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Just a small cattle operation less than a decade ago, Honeywood Farms in Lamar County is now a one-stop shop for meat, produce, and even a farm-to-table meal.
David Jones takes an up-close look at this family-run business and shows you why locals continue to pour in.
While this farm has been in the family for nearly 30 years, it barely resembles the cow-calf operation it was originally intended to be. In fact, the transformation didn't really begin until fairly recently when a pair of siblings returned to the farm and took a chance.
We did have some hospitality background, some restaurant business background, but as far as farming, we just kind of went for it. And so about 9 years ago, we started planting. We had already had the cattle operation, but we introduced the pork operation and the chicken. So we added livestock, and then we just grew whatever we could get our hands on.
This resulted in a surplus of produce that initially went to farmers markets around the state. However, that all changed after renovating one of the oldest buildings on the property.
It was at one point kind of just a shelter for tools and tractors and that sort of thing. And then once we decided we weren't going to do farmers markets anymore, that's where the store came into play.
And behind these sliding doors, you'll find everything from local dairy products to fruits and vegetables straight from the garden. So customers are not only supporting their community, but also receiving the highest quality product.
First of all, you know exactly where it's coming from. And it's coming, it's not the carbon footprint on that, what's coming out of our garden and coming and getting it, or we're cutting it, right out of the greenhouse for you. It hasn't been, on trucks. It hasn't been sprayed to preserve the freshness, you're getting it as fresh as you can get it when you come here, because everything that is in the store that we grow, is harvested daily.
And those fresh vegetables are implemented into dishes served at this very popular cafe, which stays packed during their lunch service.
Anything that's growing, we use. Obviously in the down times right now, we have greens and we have carrots and that sort of thing, but most everything that we grow, and of course we went from trying to grow everything to trying to kind of, what really works well for us, what sells well, what we can use well in the kitchen, to try to not have so much waste. If it's not on the menu, then it's probably being used for prepared foods.
Despite the long hours it takes to run a farm, store, and restaurant, getting to share the story of agriculture makes it all worthwhile.
That's like the best part of my job, is like meeting the people that appreciate it. It's a really great community, even farmer to farmer. It's like everybody's doing something for the benefit of the soil or your health, and people appreciate that.
Reporting from Lamar County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
When we come back, time to clean out that refrigerator, but before you throw away those perfectly good leftovers, we're going to show you how you can use them to whip up some tasty stir fry. Meals from the field when the Farm Monitor continues. it's hard to believe almost a month has passed since the holiday season and we had all our families over. We were opening gifts on Christmas Day. I got a fantastic gift this year from the wife. She surprised me with one of those griddles, and I am a griddle maniac now, trying to make all kinds of stuff on there. So I called Marcia. I said, Marcia, let's do stuff that we can make on the griddle this month. Don't have a griddle here.
I don't have one at home. I mean, I've got a not as fancy as you got.
I am the griddle master now. I gotta admit, I love that thing. But we are doing something today that you can actually cook on a griddle if you have one at home. Right. Something we have never done here on Meals from the Field. We are doing stir fry. So let's get jump right into it.
All right, I'm gonna have to have your help here today.
Hey, I'm a master now, so I can stir. I can do all this stuff.
You can do all that. If you don't have a wok, they make one you just put on top of your stove. You can use a frying pan, or if you're rich enough like you to get a fancy griddle like you got for Christmas. All right, this is 2 cloves of garlic. You can start stirring that. Yep, and this is a half a cup of peppers, bell peppers, a variety of it. Let's see if that's hot enough. I don't think so. And a half a cup of chopped onion. So you're gonna stir that around for a minute. While you're doing that, I'm going to mix up the sauce that goes, it's just going to be our sauce to go over it.
Okay.
It is 5 tablespoons of orange marmalade, which is so delicious in this. 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar, and 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce. And you can find the rice vinegar in the Asian section of a supermarket.
And you may have to talk a little bit louder because we've got a lot of sizzle going on here.
Good.
And the microphones are picking it up.
Okay, good. That's what we like. All right, you've been doing that for a couple minutes. Now this is optional. You can add red pepper flakes if you want or not. I happen to think just a little bit. You don't want it to take your head off unless you want to take someone's head off. All right, then this is 1 pound of shrimp.
Uncooked shrimp.
Uncooked shrimp.
I made the mistake.
Peeled, deveined.
I made the mistake the first night on the griddle of using frozen shrimp, and it got a little tough and rubbery.
Oh, yeah.
So the best thing to do, from what I understand, is use uncooked shrimp.
Uncooked shrimp, yes. Okay, you're going to stir that up probably. What are we doing on temperature over here? It's going to take that about 3 minutes. You just keep stirring. The key to this cook and stir fries to have everything prepped ahead of time because it goes really, really quick. And when the shrimp starts to be less opaque than it was when you put it in there, it's done. And it doesn't take shrimp long at all to cook.
Because you always worry about getting sick from uncooked shrimp, so that's the big thing. How do you know when it actually is cooked? What's the signs to look for?
Make sure it's turning kind of pink and white. And you can't see through it is the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
All right, while you're doing that, we're gonna go ahead and add the sauce because it has to simmer a few minutes. And like I said, the key here is to make sure everything is prepped ahead of time because it goes really, really quick. Okay, while you're still stirring there, we're gonna probably have to let that simmer a little bit. You're gonna add some shredded carrot. And you could change up these ingredients. If you don't like carrots, don't put them in there. Peas, you could use snow peas. These are frozen peas, but if you don't like peas, you could do green beans or asparagus.
Hey, the more vegetables, the better.
It's a really good way to clean out your refrigerator, you know, if you've got just a little bit of stuff. All right, there's our wok. There's our shrimp stir fry. And we're gonna just let that simmer a little bit.
Okay, what's next?
All right, you can keep stirring there.
All right.
This is a smashed cucumber salad. And smashing a cucumber, so I've heard, and I've done it, I believe it, really brings out the flavor. So this is just a cucumber, and I have peeled it a little bit.
Now be careful, because this is a glass top.
I know.
I know you know what you're doing.
I know, but that would be
I'm not
terrible.
trying to tell you what to do,
Well,
but...
so we're going to pretend. You're just going to mash this down till it starts to break open.
Okay.
Okay? You made me nervous there, Ray. I don't think I'll try that.
I don't want to get in trouble with Commissioner Black or anybody in the
No, I
Department of
don't think they would
Agriculture.
like a smashed countertop. All right, once you've smashed the cucumber, you cut it in half and you just kind of cut it in cubes.
Okay.
Then you're going to place those cucumbers in a colander over a bowl with salt and pepper on it to let it kind of wet.
Do you have smashed cucumber already ready?
Yep.
Okay, there you
Okay,
go.
yep, this is already ready. All right, to that you're going to add, and I've already got the carrots in there, we're going to make a sauce. This again is rice wine vinegar. The other thing about these two recipes together, once you buy the ingredients, you're going to use it at least twice. So,
Okay.
all right, this is sesame oil, soy sauce, garlic, 2 cloves of garlic, the hot pepper flakes again. Here again, that's definitely optional. And 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. You're going to mix all that up. Those shrimp are looking pretty good
They're
there,
looking
Ray.
good, I'm
Yeah, you
telling
can
you.
tell you've had experience. You're going to pour that over the salad. And this is so good. All these flavors, I could eat this every day. And this is something you want to make kind of ahead of time, but not too many days. You just stir that up, and it is delicious with your stir fry.
Sure.
It's really, really good.
Now, obviously, you can't make the salad on the griddle.
No.
But like you said, you can make this on the griddle as well.
Yeah.
And it would probably cook a little bit quicker because those griddles
It probably would.
Yeah, those griddles get 450 around there, 375, 450
And
on
this
those
wok
griddles.
is easily 30 years old because I got it for a wedding gift.
And that's it. Pretty simple, huh?
That's it. You can serve this with rice. You could make fried rice, which is really easy to do, or those Chinese noodles.
Right.
But or you can serve it by itself.
Well, a new year, of course, 2021. Our recipe section on Farm-Monitor continues to grow and grow. And again, you can make all these recipes by logging on to farm-monitor.com. Everything is there for you in very detailed instructions. We do get a lot of emails from people saying they love these recipes. Oh, that's not good. You got to walk that. Get it? See what I just did
Don't
there?
let it walk away.
Don't let it walk away. But yes, we do get a lot of emails from people thanking us for this recipe segment. They love you. They love their Marcia. They love the recipe. So thank you. Thank you for watching. And Marcia, we will see you next month.
Time for our final break. Up next, American Farm Bureau awards one of its highest honors to a man known for his passion for agriculture. An in-depth look at former Texas Congressman Mike Conaway after this.
My favorite thing about working for Extension is the diversity of the people that come in here and the different questions that we have. And there, some days they might line up out there, so you go from one subject to the next. You sort of become a generalist of all subjects, not necessarily a master of them, but you have to learn about a whole lot of different things. We teach a series of classes every year. That is fairly well attended by our clientele, and most anything we do that's got to do with vegetable gardening gets a really good attendance. You could be working on somebody's sick tree one minute and identifying insects the next minute, working on somebody's turf grass issue, and of course I do the agriculture and natural resource part of it, so that's what I deal with. And you might be out looking at somebody's horse pasture or somebody's goats. I mean, there's no limit to what you can do.
Finally this week, whether it was Georgia, his home state of Texas, or really any other state for that matter, if it involved agriculture and fighting for America's farmers, Mike Conaway was at the forefront leading the charge.
Well, on January 3rd, the former congressman and chairman of the House Ag Committee retired from public office, but not before being recognized by American Farm Bureau for his years of commitment and service to agriculture.
Mike Conaway is not a farmer, but he became a powerful voice in Congress for those who farm and ranch. His congressional district in west central Texas covers 29 counties and 2 important sectors of the economy, agriculture and energy.
The people who work in production agriculture and the people who work in oil and gas are some of the most decent, honest, hardworking, patriotic Americans you could ever imagine. And so getting to go to work on their behalf every day has been a real joy.
First elected in 2005, Conaway was a CPA and chief financial officer. He had done a lot of tax work, but not for farmers.
I had never prepared a Schedule F in my entire career. Now, I ate every day, 3-4 times a day, and so my direct connection with production agriculture was to eat. So the good folks in District 11 had a giant leap of faith that I could, in fact, learn enough about the business to be able to represent them.
Their patience paid off, and they knew they had someone special in Congress. Texas Farm Bureau President Russell Baining first met the congressman at a fundraiser.
After the meal, Chairman Conaway got up and shared some things that were going on in D.C. and some legislation that was going on. And then he talked a little bit about how he felt in his heart it was to be a representative, about integrity, about your moral compass, about why he was doing it, and it resonated with me.
He worked on the 2014 Farm Bill and shortly afterwards became chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. As chairman, Conaway played a key role in drafting the 2018 Farm Bill. It passed on time and by an overwhelming margin in the House.
Mr. Speaker, the one thought that troubles me the most is the increase in suicides. The pressures of losing a multi-generational farm and ranch operation must be incredible to cause men and women to decide to make an awful decision as a result of those pressures. This bill will help alleviate that.
The congressman dedicated himself to implementing the Farm Bill. He also used his influence to help secure the USMCA, the replacement for NAFTA.
Chairman Conaway was on board right away. He was a big proponent. He worked across the aisle. Of course, he worked with his Republican colleagues, but he reached across the aisle to his Democratic colleagues and just did a great job of meeting with folks and telling folks how important it was for agriculture and really for our entire economy, for that matter.
Chairman Conaway's portrait now hangs in the U.S. House of Representatives, a well-deserved honor. And after 16 years in the House, he decided not to return. As he packed up to leave Capitol Hill, the congressman reflected on the things he will miss the most: the people of his district, colleagues and staff, and the responsibility.
The 435 members who in place at any one point in time have tremendous responsibility for setting policy for 340 million people, for making sure our nation is safe and secure, making sure that she continues to play the role of the rest of the world in defense of liberty and freedom that's been her role for over 100 years. Being a part of that system is a big deal. I'm not a big deal. The job I have is a big deal.
Congressman Mike Conaway of Texas, winner of the 2021 American Farm Bureau Distinguished Service to Agriculture Award.
Excellent feature by American Farm Bureau. Huge thanks to them for letting us share it with you. And our thanks to you for watching the show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.